Let's go places.
We are moments away from first pitch, game 2 of the series. It's the A's and the Seattle Mariners from Safeco Field here in Seattle. Mariners have taken the field. Here's your game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily starting Friday, May 27th. Nice night, 65 degrees. The flags are laying low. So a comfortable evening. And the A's trying to make it 2 in a row here in Seattle. They have not lost here at Safeco Field yet this year. They are 4-0. So let's look at the lineup tonight for the Athletics. Coco Crisp will lead off in left. Billy Burns will be in center. Stephen Vogt is starting to heat up. He will hit third and do the catching. Valencia in the cleanup spot. Chris Davis will DH. Alonso at first. Simeon at short. Coghlan at second. Smolinski in right. That's the same lineup as last night.
How about that? Back-to-back games. Nathan Carnes will face that same lineup tonight. We're in the lucky number 13 for him. It's not bothering him at all as he's pitching very well. The 4-1 record. Matter of fact, Kendall Graveman is the opposite number for him. He started the game May the 2nd. Kendall Graveman also started against him last year when he's with the Tampa Bay Rays, of course, acquired by the Mariners to solidify their already very good rotation. Got a good fastball and curveball.
So behind Carnes, the defense for Seattle. Aoki, Martin, and Smith in the outfield. Seager, O'Malley, Sean O'Malley, the shortstop. Cano at second. Lind at first. Chris Iannetta is again behind the plate tonight. So we're set for baseball. Last night, the A's ended a 4-game losing streak, and for the Mariners, they had their 4-game winning streak snapped. So we'll see what happens tonight here in game 2 of the series. But a pretty good all-around performance by the Athletics last night in the 5-0 win, getting their 2nd shutout of the year, thanks to Rich Hill. Umpires tonight. That's Dan Iasonia. He'll call balls and strikes. The crew chief Dale Scott at first. Balk and Bob Davidson at second, and Lance Barrett is at third.
Great to have a nickname like that, isn't it?
Balk and Bob Davidson. He's just looking for the right angle.
Positioning himself in the outfield.
That's right. They'll come to a complete stop tonight.
Rich Hill was outstanding.
Sure
and
was.
8 innings. Bob Melvin said he came in after the 8th inning. He said, I want the ninth. I want the ninth. He said, you're not getting the ninth. Ryan Madson hasn't pitched in a long time. I needed to pitch the 9th inning. And he was all over the place. And you don't often see pitchers who are able to gather foul balls, pop-ups. And he said, I'd seen too many of them drop, especially with the shifts, and a long run for Valencia. So he covered the ground in foul territory and gets to recuperate and rest for 4 days before he pitches again. Maybe 5 with the off day Thursday.
Coco hits a fly ball toward Aoki in left, and he has it 1 out. Here's our Ford right choice, and let's look at some of the highlights from Rich Hill last night, getting his 7th win, 8 innings, 8 hits, no runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He threw 107 pitches, and he raised his record to 7-3. There's that Rich Hill, the famous curveball now. Asked Stephen Vogt about his performance last night, earlier today, and he said the difference last night is it was the best fastball that Rich Hill has had.
Yeah.
So the breaking ball's there, 3 different angles and big break, but last night the fastball was pretty good as well. In Athletics history, pitchers to win each of their first 6 road starts in a season. Rich Hill this year. Kevin Apier, Gil Heredia. Not Sonny Gray, Sam Gray. Don't be confused.
25.
They are not related. You got to go back to 1925. So Rich Hill 6-0 with a 1.40 ERA on the road this year.
Well, that's great. I mean, when you think about on the road, of course, the A's playing so well, so much better on the road. Same for the Mariners. But for a pitcher to have those kind of numbers to start the season, it's unbelievable.
Earned run average for Hill is now 3rd best in the American League behind the pair of White Sox left-handers, Sale and Quintana.
Sale going for win number 10 tonight.
Yep.
Quintana and Sale. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch for the White Sox.
Burns lofts one toward shallow right center. Smith coming in, and he won't get it. Cutting in front is Martin, so a bloop single for Billy Burns. Here's our Geico quote of the game. It's the manager, Bob Melvin, talking about Rich Hill. Tough to even put into words. Every game right now that he goes out there, we have a great feeling we're going to win no matter what we're going through.
That's called a stopper.
I was just thinking that sounds like a stopper.
That is a stopper, and the feeling. But I think your point is we were talking earlier about the other starters have to step up because you can't depend on win 1, lose 4, and that's what the A's did. They won, swept the Rangers. Rich Hill, the final win, and started that game or that series against the Rangers, and then won again last night.
And I think with Sonny Gray on the disabled list, and we're not going to be out a long time, but we don't have an exact date when he's coming back. There is pressure on these young starters, whether it's fair or not. It is the big leagues, and Graveman and Hahn and Minaya. Well, they have to start pitching better.
Yeah, you're right, and you know they should be looking at it as opportunities because Henderson Alvarez comes back. If everybody's healthy, it'd be a whole different story for some of the pitchers, but they get the opportunity to show what they can do, and maybe when the decision comes as to what moves are going to be made, maybe because their performance has been good enough to stay here, they're going to stay.
And Vogt takes a strike. But the numbers that kind of get you a little bit are these numbers. Since April 23rd, Rich Hill, he's been great, but the other starters, 2-17. And that's tough to look at.
8.20 ERA, that's not good. You don't win a lot of games that way.
Vogt hits one high in the air towards shallow center. Martin will come in. He's under it, 2 away.
Perhaps not intentional, as the case last night with Taijuan Walker, but as Stephen Vogt told us in the post-game interview, the high fastball, very difficult to get on top, and he got under that one. When you get under that type of fastball, it's not going to travel very far. Stephen got the 3-1 fastball that Taijuan Walker threw down in the zone, hit a solo home run. His first in almost a month.
So 2 outs for Danny Valencia.
That's Cano, the second baseman, on the third base side of second.
Yeah, he's been there a lot in this series,
especially against Danny Valencia.
It's about as big of a hole on the right side as you'll ever get because Adam Lind is holding Burns on, and Adam Lind does not have a huge amount of range. Just doesn't look right, does it?
No, it doesn't. And for Danny Valencia, just get jammed and hit a ball to the right side. I mean, that's a first and third. Seth Smith is playing very deep in right field. That's why I was shocked that he didn't get to Billy Burns' fly ball. I mean, it wasn't as if it was a ball that should have landed, but considering where Seth Smith was playing in right field, he had a long run. Same for Martin in center. So Billy's at first and trying to get in score position. Seth Smith is very deep, especially for a right-handed hitter.
Let's see, it checks his swing, and he did not go. That's Dale Scott.
Well, he's aggressive, and like his teammate in Toronto, Jose Bautista, very aggressive but very disciplined when it comes to pitches out of the strike zone.
So 2-0 to Valencia. Burns the runner at first. And they're calling a ball.
Quick pitch to.
Yeah. And it was called by, looked like, Dale Scott, the first base umpire.
Well,
but you never know.
You never know. But you're right, because he said come to a full stop, and it's going to be 2-0. That pitch didn't count, but he does not come set. And a couple of guys yelled.
Too.
Yeah. I bet Bob did.
Bob had to be involved. And now 3-0. Chris Davis, the on-deck hitter. Outfield, as we said, pretty much straight away, and Smith deep and right. That's a strike. So Valencia, he'll take one. He'll be ready to go here on 3-1.
Just thinking, he has been swinging 3-0. He's had the 3-0 green light, but Carnes really is not throwing a quality pitch to him. Even the 3-0 was just a guided in fastball at about 93, easily thrown.
See if Carnes gives him anything to hit. The first base open. Curveball on 3-1, and it snaps in there first strike. He's got a good curveball. We've seen that in both of his starts he's made against the A's.
That's the good curveball, and now he could fastball or curveball, either one. And Danny Valentin just has to be prepared for either pitch.
Three-two breaking ball is bounced towards Seager. Seager gets a good hop across the diamond side, retired. So Burns is stranded at second base, and the A's do not score. Bottom of the first coming up. Go field. No score, bottom of the first. So what a night it's going to be. Martin and Smith Cano is your top three hitters in the Mariners lineup. Then Cruz, Seager, Lind, Ionetta, O'Malley, and Nori Aoki.
Well, Kendall Graveman, he can think about one start, which was very successful. That was against the New York Yankees back on the 20th of April. That is it, his last win, as he is 1-6 on the season, but he's been working on his sinking fastball, and he hopes in the second start against the Mariners this year that it does well. He'll take that low one, even though it's called a ball, but he wants to keep the ball down in that vicinity.
Facing Leonis Martin, a hot hitter. A couple of hits last night from Martin. So we talked about Graveman in the pregame part of our show, Ray, and I mentioned the sinker, and you mentioned the cutter, which has become a very important pitch for him. But they have to work together.
They work together, and really everything is off the sinker. We talked last night, Taijuan Walker, everything's off his fastball. Same for Kendall Graveman. The cutter is successful if the sinker is working. And that means he could use the cutter both sides of the plate, lefties and righties. And the sinker, though, is that one. It's a breaking ball there. But against the Yankees, he did this very successfully, especially against the power left-handers. Kept swinging over the breaking ball inside.
Martin .259 with his 8 home runs. Looks like he went around. Yes, he did. So Martin strikes out.
Well, Stephen Vogt came up immediately knowing that he had swung, and he swung and tried to bring the bat back quickly, but Can't fool Lance Barrett. He did a good job last night with Rich Hill.
The A's defense, Chris Burns and Smolinski in the outfield, Valencia, Simeon, Coghlan, Alonso on the infield, with Stephen Vogt doing the catching. And here's Seth Smith, who did not play last night. Smith on the season, 236. He's got 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. Outside, and now 2-0. Second year for Smith in a Mariners uniform. And he lines that one to left field for a base hit. So Seth Smith with a 1-out single.
Well, good location, the fastball from Kendall Graveman, but excellent hitting by Seth Smith. Fastball maybe a little bit up, didn't sink that much. Kind of a 4-seam outside corner.
So here's Robinson Cano. Cano shoots one toward left center. Burns on the move. Burns can't get it, and it goes past him. He picks it up at the base of the wall. They're waving Seth Smith home, and Smith will come in to score. Robinson Cano with an RBI double to give the Mariners an early lead.
I thought the ball was going to get caught. It would be caught by Billy Burns. I mean, he must have really taken off on it. Didn't slice that much. And the fastball away, and Cano goes that way so well. And Billy Burns, after it right there, looked like he had it. And all of a sudden, it just sliced at the last minute. And Burns, he had to shut it down and go after the ball. And it stuck underneath the pad, which that helped Seth Smith score from first. But Robinson Cano, as he did in Oakland with a home run to left center, he uses the whole field. Tough man to shift.
So his league-leading 40th RBI of the season, and here's Nelson Cruz, and he takes a strike in the outside corner. Cruz at 280, 9 homers, 29 RBIs. He had a couple of hits last night, 2 for 4, 2 singles. Shift is on for Cruz, and he takes inside. So Kendall Graveman trying to win for the first time since April 20th, when he beat the Yankees in New York. Off the end of the bat into the dugout. So his first 3 starts, which was Chicago, Los Angeles, and then that win in New York. Look at the ground ball percentage. This is when he's throwing fastballs and cutters, which are the 2 pitches he throws the most. But look at the ground ball percentage his last 5 starts, which he's lost them all. So a significant drop in ground balls and a significant increase in fly balls, and that really tells the whole story right there.
29 total ground ball outs in those first 3 starts.
Good pitch there on 1-2. So Cruz strikes out. 2 outs, a run in here in the first.
And this different version of the sinker, down and in, the ball just darts way inside, and that's a pitch you'd like to throw outside of the left-handers. And while he may have tried to do that to both Smith and Cano, he left the ball out straight, and they both hit it.
So here is the left-handed hitting Kyle Seager. Seager was 1 for 4 last night, hitting .256 with 8 home runs and 26 RBIs. Here's Seager's brother Corey, starting shortstop for the Dodgers. Younger brother.
Like his brother here, kind of the untouchable.
Yes, indeed.
The Dodgers and the Mariners, a couple of the Seagers that are untouchables. Seager, of course, a long-term contract. He's going to be at third for a long time.
Kyle Seager stands 6 foot tall. His brother Corey is much taller than that. He's about 6'3", 6'4".
Playing shortstop. Yep. It's tall shortstop. It's like Cal Ripken Jr.
Outside corner strike. So 2-1 the count.
So we when do the promo on the Pet Bowl, we are having the natural howling already in the stadium tonight. We don't have to worry about that canned howling.
No, we can
just
stick a microphone out there.
We're hearing it right now.
2-1 pitch to Seager, way inside. 3-1. Slow start for Seager. His month of April, he hit just 159, but he has had a terrific month of May. In 22 games, he's hitting 354. Look at the OPS. And he's pretty consistent. When it's all said and done, he's going to hit around 25 home runs. He's going to drive in around 85, 90 runs. That's what he has done for 3 years in a row now. Takes that one just a touch low.
Well, you kind of look at the hot hitters, and since Seager is one of them, Lind is also dangerous from the left side. The one thing a pitcher cannot do is try to guide the ball. Whatever pitch it might be, you have to throw it with conviction and let it go and let the results be what they are. And the natural or the sink will occur naturally with the grip and the way you release the ball and finish the pitch.
So here's the power hitting Adam Lind. Sinker drops low. Dae-Ho Lee played first base last night. Takes it off the plate. Lind with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Lind will be a free agent at the end of this year. Some pretty good years in Toronto, 1 year in Milwaukee.
Left-handed power hitters always seems to find a home.
Yeah, no question.
And can't really blame clubs for what to get it.
And rips one toward first. Alonso on the backhand side is retired. A run on 2 hits. Couple of runners stranded for the Mariners. 1-0 Seattle after 1.
.com@bat app. Stay up in the moment, any moment with game day, live game, video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com@bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet.
So So the Mariners with a 1-0 lead. It's the second inning. Nathan Carnes to work against Davis, Alonso, and Simeon.
Impressive thing about Nathan Carnes throwing the back-to-back curveballs to Danny Valencia. First base was open. It's the fact that Chris Davis has hit Nathan Carnes very well. And that was a surprising thing. They know that, but decided to go to the curves anyway.
2-0 now to Davis. Davis was 0 for 4 last night. There's the highest curveball percentage. Rich Hill, we are not surprised there. Nate Carnes third. Drew Pomeranz has pitched extremely well for the San Diego Padres. Pomeranz ERA is under 2.
Thought when he pitched for the A's, he had a great curveball, and he's continued that with the Padres. Sneaky fastball.
And now the count 2-2.
A good sinker is not the real good four-seam fastball, and Carnes will throw a lot of the fastballs, but the various varieties, the two-seamer, four-seamer, cut it occasionally, curveball and a change.
Diving down and in, and Davis swings over top. So 1 out here in the top of the second inning.
Well, watch this ball just sink unbelievably. You have Felix Hernandez on your team, you can learn a great changeup because he throws it as hard as anybody with tremendous sink on it.
Carnes so far this year has more strikeouts than innings pitched. So he can punch you out. Cano will wait. Scoop it up. So Alonso on 1 pitch. He's retired. 2 outs here in the second inning, and that'll bring up Marcus Simeon. He's come in with a 20-26 record. 7 games back of these Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, when you're playing the first place team as the A's were last night, again, picked up a full game, and well, you can say it's early, but every time you play the team that you're chasing, it's always nice to beat them. Exactly. Because you're going to see them a lot.
This is the 3rd series of 6 series. We'll finish the season right here.
You'd like to have those games be meaningful for both teams, and at least for the A's, but last for the regular season. Same schedule as last year, 3 in Anaheim, except the A's had the off day on the Thursday. A's were swept in Oakland by the Mariners after sweeping the Mariners here early April, and they returned the favor. I guess that's part of their very good road record Mariners have had.
Well, the A's need to return the favor from last year. The Mariners were tough on the A's last year. They won the season series 13-6 over the A's. One and 2 to Marcus Simeon. Fastball away. These are 12-11 on the road. Pitch is a breaking ball that's rolled toward Ron Washington. Well, 2-2. Carnes will rub up the baseball, take a little quick step behind the pitching rubber. Kicks, and the 2-2 pitch is in the dirt. Coughlin would be next. The shift is on again. And that one runs way inside, and Simeon has a 2-out walk.
Well, the kind of control that Carnes has, a little surprised to see him even go to 3-ball count, something that Taijuan Walker last night waited until the latter part of the game. Stephen Vogt hit the home run in the 7th inning leading off on a 3-1 fastball, the only 3-ball count for Carnes or for Walker last night. And Carnes already won to Valencia in the first, struck him out, actually ground out of the curveball, and a walk to Simeon on 3-1. Carnes has good stuff, and that's the amazing thing that he missed as much as he did with the pitch to Simeon.
Yeah, he's not going to look overpowering, but he seems like one of those guys who kind of will throw any pitch at any time, and all his pitches are a little bit above average.
Exactly. And really goes well with his catcher Iannetta, who, look at a veteran that Iannetta is. He's been around the league a long time.
Last season, when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays, average velocity 91.6. This year, 92.7. So a tick up for Carnes.
The beard.
You think?
Beard this year compared to last year. They just put a Mariners cap on him last year. This year's got the beard. There's a tick.
Backhanded, and nicely done by Sean O'Malley, who scrambles towards second base to get the out there side retired. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Iannetta, O'Malley, and Aoki. California is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. 1-0 the Mariners lead. It's the bottom of the second inning. And the first pitch to Chris Iannetta is drilled into left field for a base hit. Hit number 3 for Seattle.
Iannetta walks or he swings at the first pitch. Tonight he decided to swing at the first pitch, and why not? That pitch coming right in, belt high. And there's the difference. Elevated pitch is no chance to get a ground ball with the ball about waist high. And Kendall Graveman got no sink on the first offering, maybe just trying to get ahead with a first pitch strike.
So here's Sean O'Malley. O'Malley playing shortstop tonight. He's a switch hitter. Tough night for Chris Taylor last night. Taylor made a couple of costly errors, led to 4 unearned runs. And I would not say the errors that Taylor made were necessarily difficult plays. He just,
well, he's lucky. Could have had and should have had 3.
Yeah, he probably should have had 3. And think about it, if he makes the plays, it's probably a 1-0 final.
That's right. And it makes a totally different game.
Yep, no question.
But this started with Marcus Simeon, just a routine ground ball to short, and he airmailed it into the seats. I mean, that's an airman. That's an airman.
That's a good one.
And this is one that should have been 2 errors because he bobbles the ball. That's 1 error. And there's another error, but the official score gave him 1 error. And both runners able to advance to second and third.
Yeah, so, and I agree with you, right? Because the first error should be the missed ground ball,
right,
which allowed the guy who hit the ball to reach first base.
So cool, exactly.
The second error was the throw, because there has to be a reason why the runners advanced second to third and first to second.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where there should be an error on the fielding part of the play
and
then the throw.
Exactly. Now that's what I was surprised, and maybe the game sped up for the official score that he didn't realize what was going on. But you know, if he had bobbled the ball and thrown it away and allowed Coco to get to second, you could say, yeah, that's fine. But when Semien was able to go to third, there's your other error, that he was able to take the extra base.
That was hooked down the right field line, foul. Because from a bookkeeping standpoint, there has to be a reason why the runner went from second to third.
If you don't give Coco a hit,
exactly,
and he didn't, and so it's he said E4 or E6 but you know, the A's were able to score 4 unearned runs. It helped them win the game, and trying to carry that into this game and have some success, get on the board, and get another win.
2-pitch roll foul by O'Malley. Tel Marte on the disabled list, as we talked about last night, with the sprained left thumb. So he should be back in a couple of weeks. Good pitch there, strike 3 call.
I think you could hear Dan Sonia, the home plate umpire, because the pitch was there and he didn't move that much, but I think you could hear him yell strike, or his whatever version, because there was a delay. Pitch was great. That's the backdoor cut fastball. And O'Malley, while trying to bunt a couple of times with Dan Sonia, called him a strike, rang him up, and a good cutter thrown by Kendall Graveman.
So 1 away. Here's Nori Aoki. Aoki now hitting in the 9th spot. Shoots one toward Alonso, who fires to second for 1. And they got him.
They're going to hold on. They're going to take a look at it, but.
So Alonso made a great play at first, and then Semien made a great play at second.
Well, he didn't tag the bag like last night. This time overthrew it, and from his seat, threw it, and a nice pick. And
I think they got him.
I think they're going to take a look at it, but this is an interesting call for Scott Service, being mainly because this is only the 2nd inning, and that would be the 3rd out. And the key here is the call on the field. Well,
maybe not. See, the first replay we showed, Aoki.
Well, the A's player is going back on the field, and they're looking at it, but it's called out by Dale Scott. He is the crew chief, and you know, if in New York, this is all over to the critical. It said, "What's the play on the field?"
Yeah.
Because if it's, and you know, the umpires are looking at the board, and you know, is it too close to overturn it? That's the biggest question that Scott Service is dealing with right now. He's hoping that in New York they see that the foot is on the bag before the ball's clearly in the glove, and it's bang bang.
Yeah. Said the first replay we showed, he looked out, but now the ones that they're showing, he looks like he may be safe. And they're calling him safe. Nope. Aoki will be aboard with 2 outs. It'll be a fielder's choice. So Alonso has a decision to make there too. Does he do that, or does he step on the bag and then then throw to second, which makes it a tag play.
Well, I think the reason he threw as quickly as he did because Aoki hit it.
Yeah.
And he has the speed. So he wanted to get the lead runner, which he did, but the return throw, he made the quick throw to second, unlike last night when he made a perfect throw, but could have tagged it, but decided he wanted to get the lead runner, but the overthrow, and Marcus a good job, and then bounced it back to him because he threw it from his feet, from his knees, and did not get as much on it.
0-1 to the leadoff man, Leonis Martin, who struck out in the first inning. A walk and 3 strikeouts so far for Kendall Graveman. Aoki is, in his career, has been a decent base stealer. But this year, he's got 2 steals, but he's been thrown out 6 times, which is, that's hard to do. He's not a guy that's going to steal 50, but he's a guy that can steal 20 to 25.
And you have to wonder, Kai, if he doesn't have the green light, which he probably does, you might see them say, here's a steal sign, you have to run.
Gotta go.
And that's something that you start doing, and it's not good that a runner has to look at the first base coach to confirm the sign, because you should know the sign, which are very easy in the first place. The green light means he can go when he feels he can get a jump, and you would think if Scott Service is going to challenge a play at first and put Aoki there, he wants to keep the inning going, and right now there are 2 outs and 2 strikes on the hitter. So you'd think he's going to be running to have Martin leading off if he's thrown out.
And there he goes. Pitch out. Vogt's throw is in time, and Aoki never got to the bag. Tag put down, and Aoki thrown out stealing again, and that's how the inning comes to an end. So 3rd inning coming up, 1-0 Seattle.
Perfect place to host your annual company party. Check out the A's East Side Club. The East Side Club accommodates, listen to this, up to 1,200 guests. 1,200. And that includes a pregame catered meal and game ticket. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/BBQ. 1,200, man.
That's a lot.
Jeez.
That's a big crowd.
You could invite all them for your party, your birthday party.
It's a big crowd.
It's already been done.
They could get 1,200 on that boat.
Oh, easy. One boat we saw last night, probably double that. All these dogs barking into that too.
So Smolinski to lead it off.
Big hit last night to drive in the A's second run. Probably one of the biggest hits of the night, considering the errors that were made. And between innings, I'm surprised. I mean, this is a field that's manicured probably as well as anybody's, but the home plate area, both batters' boxes and the catcher's box, they added like a turfus or something. They added this, and actually it took time in between innings, and almost to the point that Dan Iasonia talked to Carnes, the pitcher, as if to say you got a little bit extra time because Iannetti could not get back behind the plate. But it's unusual to have this happen. It almost looks muddy. And maybe they put it on to kind of dry it out a little bit. But, I mean, it hasn't rained. Maybe they just put too much water and didn't dry out as much.
Here's what Smolinski did last night.
Stayed with the fastballs, and he finally got one from Taijuan Walker, and that was a big one, driving in Marcus Semien. Stayed with the fastballs, which he did all night, and got one down in the lower part of the strike zone. Kind of like to Stephen Vogt when he threw one on 3-1.
The big curve. That one hung a little bit. Smolinski fouls it in the luxury suite.
Yeah, that was a hanger for him, though. Carnes, it was a 2-strike hanger, which maybe a hitter is not as aggressive.
Another 1-2 to Smolinski. Another breaking ball. And he taps this one toward the on-deck circle. Crisp to follow, and then Burns here in the third, with the Mariners leading 1-0. It was a Robinson Cano RBI double in the first inning for the game's only run so far. This fastball is popped up, playable. Lind coming down the line. One away. Breaking ball, fastball, right? So then your slightly elevated fastball becomes a tougher pitch to hit.
Right. On after all the curveballs too, and then just reacted on a pitch that might have been a ball, but could not take the chance.
So one away. Here's the leadoff man, Coco Crisp. Crisp hit a fly ball to left field, leading off the game. Milestone for Coco last night with career hit number 1,500. What's the chance of getting your 1,500th career hit in your 1,500th career game?
1 in 18,000.
He's that one then, because that's what he did. Pitch there, and it's 0-2. He's with 1 hit. He had a couple of base runners.
I really like last night with the ball Coco hit to left field. The ball Billy Burns hit shouldn't have been a hit tonight. They were playing him very deep, which was surprising. So turned out well for the A's last night as Taijuan Walker just zipped through the A's order many times with his high fastball. A's eventually got to him. Thanks to some bad defense, but they'd take it anyway. Right now, the A's will take a win any way could get it because they have been struggling. 13 guys on the disabled list. 13 players on the disabled list, which is unheard of.
Well, maybe that'll go down by a guy tomorrow.
Yes, and Friday probably. Fegley coming back. Jed Lowry tomorrow.
So that's good news. Jed Lowry is he's here. He's been working out with the team, so he is scheduled to come off the disabled list tomorrow, and then hopefully Josh Fegley will come off on Friday. So at least that DL number is going in the right direction now. Coco taps it foul, but even with guys coming back, it's still a long list. It'd be nice to get Lowry back. So he took batting practice earlier today, so he's ready to go. Coco to right. Going back is Smith, and that baby's gone. And just like that, we're tied at 1.
Well, one of the best things that Coco does, and once he gets a couple of strikes, he doesn't stride. Hanging curveball. He got Nick Vincent back on April the 10th to win a ball game with a solo home run on a fastball to right field. This time ties the game. It's a hanging curveball. Fouled off the curveballs until he got one that was a hanger, and Nathan Karns knew it.
So home run number 4 for Coco Crisp. For Karns, that's the 6th home run he has allowed this year in 48 innings. Oh, 0-1 to Billy Burns, who had a hit in the first inning. Inside corner strike, 0-2. Overall, Burns hitting .272. Last year, Billy Burns ended the season with a batting average of .294. Slaps that one foul.
Always talking about Major League Baseball, the second year is the toughest because the first year you kind of get through it and put up some good numbers, as Billy Burns did. Offensively, played very good center field. Speed. You figure it's just going to get better and better, but it also means the opposing teams know him a little bit better.
And there's that breaking ball down and in, and Burns strikes out. Strikeout number 2 for Nate Karns.
Well, a curveball and a oops, why am I swinging? It ended up being out of the strike zone. He's just trying to foul the ball off like he did down in St. Petersburg against Odorizzi. No contact on the one that probably would have hit him in the leg or the foot had he made contact.
And now Vogt steps in. Vogt hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning. First pitch curveball is low.
Change up Stephen Vogt, looking fastball after the first pitch missed, and the important thing is to get a pitch that you're not looking for, take it. He did it. Even though it's a strike, take it anyway.
And that one catches the inside corner. He got ahead in the count last night, and guy who was throwing hard and throwing well, Taijuan Walker, and Vogt tucked it out of here and gave the A's the 1-0 lead. Pops it up right around second base. It's O'Malley, shortstop, who has it. Side retired Coco Crisp with home run number 4 on the year, and that has this ball game all tied at 1. with his home run. 1-1 game, bottom of the third. There's Martin.
Trying.
Yes, he was trying to slap it over Valencia's head.
I had the first at bat, and
there's a couple guys around baseball who do that.
I always like to think about Alfredo Griffin, one of the best ever, and coaching for Mike Scioscia for many years. Martin called timeout, stayed in the batter's box. Kendall Graveman didn't see Sonia to the last instant, and better be careful. Stay in the box, you might get hit.
Strike in the outside corner. Martin came over from the Texas Rangers, and it was exchanged for Tom Wilhelmsen, of course, the big, tall relief pitcher. Wilhelmsen went to the Rangers, and he really has not pitched well for them. In fact, did they not send him to AAA?
Yes, they did. And how about the news today? Carson Smith, who was acquired by the Red Sox from these Mariners for Wade Miley.
Just saw
Tommy John surgery. He's out for at least this year and maybe next year.
So, well, he pitched for a little bit, went on the disabled list with the forearm strain, which always seems to be a little bit of a look out. That's not good.
Pitched against the A's back at Boston.
He did, yeah. And arm will still bother him. And today the Red Sox announced Carson Smith, Tommy John.
Really, you think about the Mariners, 2 trades. Get a starting pitcher, Wade Miley.
Yeah.
Pitcher they trade away to help the bullpen.
That's right.
Goes on the disabled list, and Wilhelmsen. Stephen Vogt with a couple of strikes on the hitter. Had to try to block and got him in the right arm, it looked like, as the ball just kept breaking. So get it early, Stephen.
So what you're saying is the Mariners, at least at this point, the trades look good for them because they got Miley a starter and Martin the starting center fielder. Smith surgery, Wilhelmsen in the minor leagues.
A guy named Jason Varitek left Seattle many years ago, went to Boston, the captain of the Red Sox in their championship years. So that was a trade that trades happen. I mean, you always hope when you make the trades they're going to work out, but they don't always do that. In the case this year for the Mariners, they have.
Well, the Mariners made a whole host of trades this past offseason. Their list of new players is long. Carnes, Martin, Benoit, Iannetta, Clevenger, Aoki, Miley, Lynn, Cishek, Scribner, Cook. All those guys were acquired by Jerry Dipoto this offseason. So he acquired a lot and he traded a bunch of guys. Not a complete overhaul, but you keep your core guys and you say, you know what, we're going to make some changes around these guys. And that's really what the Mariners did. So far, still good.
The backdoor cut fastball just ran away, and to the point that Dan Sonia didn't like it. That's an 0-2 count, and you look at last at bat. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 pitches. Martin saw, and after Aoki was thrown out, he did lead off, or does lead off this third inning. So that's why you have the 9th place hitter run. He's thrown out, as Aoki was last inning on the pitch out. Martin leads off this inning.
Strike to Seth Smith. Yeah, I mentioned Scribner and Cook. They're both on the disabled list for the Mariners, and they have been all year. Former A's.
The best thing for Kendall Graveman right now is to get a ground ball to get a double play. Get him back on track with his ground ball. And the sinker working. Started 0-2 to Martin and ended up walking him. Frustrating at bat.
Martin is 7 for 10 in steal attempts. Mariners have not been a big stolen base team so far this year. They have just 15 as a team. 11th in the league in that category. They're 4th in the league in runs scored.
Last pitch thrown by Kendall Graveman looked like one of the better pitches because he finished. He threw it and did not try to guide it and nailed it the outside corner of the plate. That is important for a pitcher, as I mentioned, to let it go, to finish the pitch.
So 2-2 now to Seth Smith. Big fellas are coming up. Cano, Cruz, and Seager. Good lead for Martin, not running. And Smith takes down and in. So now full count, and we'll see if Martin goes now.
Seth Smith Gearstead puts the bat on the ball. And if Kendall Graveman holds true to his style of pitching, he gets a ground ball, the runner on the move would stay perhaps out of a double play. Also, with the big guys coming up following Seth Smith, it's a call for Scott Service, the manager.
Martin runs. Ball's tapped off the leg of Graveman, and he could not find it, and it's going to be a hit for Seth Smith.
You know, if that ball goes through him, it's right to the second base bag where Marcus Semien is playing. And Kendall Graveman actually called the trainer and the manager out. Got him in the foot as he kick saved it. No chance, but it looked like he follows through. Oof.
Right side of the foot. Yeah. The side of the right foot is what I should say.
But if the ball does not hit his foot, they may not have gotten Martin at second, but at least they would have gotten the runner at first. And it could have been like a throw going to second base for Semien to field the ball on the bag and throw to first. But just look at where Simeon's playing at second. And he kicked it, and Simeon's going. He's actually going there for the throw that he never got, instead off the foot of Kendall Graveman. You know, Kai, there's a situation where you turn around, you see the defense, you see the shift, and it's not a ball up the middle for a base hit. It's actually to a fielder, the way they're positioned. And I think there are times that pitchers you almost have to turn around and look to see what shift is being employed by your ball club.
Yeah, if there's a guy standing right near second base.
Yeah, I mean, normally a ball up the middle you try to stop instinctively because you think it's going to center field, but if your infielder is there,
let it go.
Let it go, and just know where they are there.
So here's the RBI leader in the American League, Robinson Cano, 3 ahead of David Ortiz. Cano already has an RBI tonight, a double that knocked in Smith in the first inning. Pitch to Cano is just a bit inside. So a big season for Robinson Cano so far. That one in the first strike, off speed pitch. I think Cano thought that pitch was high.
Same pitch you hit to left center for a home run. I mean, he has that kind of opposite field power.
And Graveman tries that inside corner again and misses. Kurt Young keeping a close eye on his young right-hander. The Mariners shut out last night. They did get 9 hits last night, but they were all singles. Maybe what hurt them most of all is they hit into 3 double plays.
Biggest one, of course, in the first, and then bases loaded, nobody out in the second. Rich Hill got out of it.
And they let a good pitcher off the ropes, and Rich Hill took over after that. 3-1 pitch is tapped toward second. Shuffled to Semien, and that's a double play. And a big one. So Martin goes to third, but there are now 2 outs.
Well, it's 3-1, not 3-2, so the runners were not on the move, and a perfectly turned double play, 4-6-3, and listen, for Marcus Semien making the return throw perfectly to Alonso, but for Kendall Graveman to get the ground ball to get 2, that is huge. And there's where the defense was played perfectly. And again, I think with Robinson Cano, if you try to shift him, he'll go against the shift, and he has proven that already in this young season. Here's another big out following him in Nelson Cruz.
And Cruz drills one toward left center, and it'll get down for a hit. Coco's able to cut it off, but the run comes in to score, and a big 2-out hit for Nelson Cruz to give the Mariners the lead back at 2-1. Cruz did not wait around.
Struck him out on a similar pitch in the first inning. Looked like Kendall tried to go to the same spot, and he did not get in there. Stephen Vogt outside, the pitch more towards the inside and about thigh high. And the 2-strike pitch, great sinker down and in, but this was a bullet. Fortunate holding him to single.
So Cruz picks up his 30th RBI and bring up Seager.
The one thing that's hurting already with the pitch count for Kendall Graveman.
54. Seager towards shallow left to the line goes Coco Crisp. And he's got it side retired. A run on 2 hits. Cruz with the RBI single. 4th inning coming up. It's the Mariners 2 and the A's 1.
For Dad, celebrate Father's Day at the ballpark. Log on to athletics.com/tickets and use coupon code DAD, D-A-D, to receive $10 off field level tickets to see the A's take on their AL West rivals, the Los Angeles Angels. Discounted Father's Day tickets are subject to availability, so make plans right now to treat Dad to an afternoon of baseball on Sunday, June the 19th, that he will never forget, whether he brings the dogs or not. Just go to the game. It's Father's Day and have a great day at the yard. I mean, you think from the father's standpoint, taking the mothers for Mother's Day, the mothers can take the fathers for Father's Day. You know, it's just a great, great opportunity to reciprocate.
Valencia leading it off here in the top of the 4th inning. Carnes has the lead back. Valencia, Davis, and Alonso.
You know, the pitch that Danny Valencia just took is one that he has been hitting hard to right field, and it looks like Carnes and Iannetta are going to stay outside with all of the pitches to Danny Valencia. But the fastball's away, and might as well shoot the ball to right field. And he's done it against lefties. Righties, though, a little bit different story. they're playing him the pull, so all the more reason try to shoot it that direction.
Broken bat grounder. Cano has it. Cano across to first, and Valencia is out. 4-3 on the putout with the shift on. And that'll bring up Davis. Davis struck out in the second inning. Davis, the DH again tonight. And he drives this one to right field. It's hit well. Smith back, and it's over his head. Bounces off the wall. Smith tried to barehand it, and he dropped it. And Davis is going to get to second no matter what, so it's a one-out double.
And there's that surprising power that teams just did not believe. Seth Smith was playing deep anyway, but Chris Davis, that's an inside out swing. That pitch coming in on, they're playing him to pull, and Seth Smith goes back and said, wow, that's hard. And then trying to look the ball into his hand and missed it. It was not going to get Chris Davis anyway. But I think Seth Smith fooled on the power Chris Davis has going opposite field. He's a strong man. Fourth double.
So here's Alonso. He's trying to come back and tie it. First pitch a little bit high. The Rangers just beat the Angels. That's a final 4-1 in Texas to even up that series in a game apiece. Rangers got a home run from the youngster Mazzara.
Again, wow. You may have given the Rookie of the Year already.
He's got 7 home runs now. Martin Perez got the win.
Well, right now the Rangers paying attention to this game because they can pick up a full game on the Mariners. The A's win. Of course, the A's also do the same thing. Tighten up the race a little bit.
So the Rangers now 26-20 after their win. And now 3-0. They're going to send Yu Darvish to the mound on Saturday. So the long-awaited return of Darvish will finally come about. So
that will be in Pittsburgh, so you get to hit, right?
In Pittsburgh, yep.
Welcome back, you.
Get a bat. So Darvish back on Saturday for the Rangers, and that's a big deal for them. 3-0 pitch off the plate, and it's a walk to Alonso.
Well, Chris Davis made the second. There's on the opposite field power tonight. How about in Oakland? Curveball hanger gone. This was his first multi-home run game of this year. He had 3, of course. This one decided to go another curveball, so he decided to go to center field, way above our cameraman in left center field. So even though 2 home runs by Chris Davis, the A's still lost as the Mariners scored just enough. 4-3, they won over the Athletics.
So Marcus Semien with a shot now. 2 on, 1 out.
Almost the point that they were pitching carefully to Alonso to get to Marcus Semien.
Semien walked in the second inning. Rolls it foul. So it looked that way to you too, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought the same.
Yeah,
thing.
and it's a little surprising, but I mean, they had the lead, but a little bit too early maybe to pitch around or carefully, but maybe Carnes is looking for the ground ball.
So Semien behind in the count, 0-2. Davis at second, Alonso at first. Swing. He struck him out. He went right at him with a fastball, and it looks like Carnes, if needed, he can go get a little bit extra.
Yeah.
That was 94 miles an hour.
And it was straight. No movement whatsoever. He was going after the strikeout, so evidently he had a pretty good plan against Marcus Semien. Walked him on a 3-2 pitch in his first at bat.
So now it's up to Coughlin. Coughlin grounded out in the second inning. Swing and a miss. Chris Coughlin is really struggling. He's 0 for his last 18 and 1 for his last 26.
If he could hit down on the ball, hit the ball to left field right through the shortstop position, and as many home runs as he has hit, not much as he has hit to the opposite field, they've got a gap on the left side for him. Should he decide to go that direction.
Back to the screen, and the count is 0-2.
It's amazing how many shifts we see, and talking to some of the scouts before the game, and they were saying, man, if I have the whole side on one side of the infield open, I'm just going to change my swing to go that direction, especially in this situation with a runner at second base, score position. And go back to Jed Lowry in the early part of the season here, where he hit 2 balls in left field through the shortstop's position.
To pitch a fastball way. The Orioles and the Astros are tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 10th inning in Houston. That's game 1 of a 3-game series. Astros trying to break a 4-game losing streak. So they're trying to walk off at Minute Maid. Better swing there to the backstop.
I don't know if it's Ionetta tonight following Taijuan Walker pitching last night, or it's just the way the Mariners are pitching, and that's up in the zone with the fastball. Maybe they're getting accustomed to the new strike zone that's supposed to be implemented next year.
Next year.
Yeah, next year, right. But back-to-back starts for the Mariners, seeing a lot of fastballs up in the zone to the A's hitters.
Just got a piece of that one. It rolls past the on deck circle.
Curveball after several fastballs. Watch Ionetta just kind of snap at it and change direction on the foul tip, so a little bit impossible to catch.
Tapped up the first base side, fair. Lynn has it, side retired. So the A's strand 2, and we're headed to the bottom of the 4th inning. Seattle 2, the Athletics 1. On CSN California is brought to you locally by Energy Upgrade California. Energy tips, rebates, and financing options are all available. EnergyUpgradeCA.org. See, they're heading over to the island. See all the cars, right?
Wow.
There's no bridges, so you got to
right.
take the ferry. If you miss the ferry, you stay in the city.
I was wondering when we saw that last night, the lights were not on, but it's a ferry for the cars, right?
Yeah.
From Seattle over to Victoria.
Our good friends here in Seattle tell us that those islands over there, no bridges.
Yeah.
Got to take the ferry.
I remember when Rich Harden played for the A's, and he would drive from Oakland up here to go over to Vancouver. It took him longer to take the ferry than it did to drive up here. That's how fast he would drive.
I've heard that.
Rich would drive fast.
He did everything fast.
Yes, he did.
Bottom of the fourth inning, Lynn, Iannetta, and O'Malley with the Mariners leading 2-1. Alonso to his right. Graveman gets over there in plenty of time.
Smooth, smooth, smooth. And Alonso had Coughlin to his right. That ranged very far to his right, able to go get the ball. Nice feed, leading Kendall Graveman so he could catch the ball quickly, look down, find the bag, and make the put out. Rare, and I mean rare, because usually you have a big, powerful first baseman, and not that Alonso can't hit home runs, but as smooth as he is around the bag defensively, he's fun to watch.
0-1 to Chris Iannetta. Full shift on for Iannetta. And he skies one to shallow left down the line. Simeon into foul territory, and Marcus dropped it.
Coco, and Coco was hoping that Marcus caught it because it looked like Coco was going to get there quickly enough to call him off, but Marcus took charge. He looked to see, and Coco kind of shut it down, but much easier for the outfielder coming in. I think Coco, once Marcus had the ball kick off his glove and could not come up with it, giving Lynn another opportunity, but long run for both left fielder and shortstop. There's a no play.
And the 0-2 pitch inside Iannetta. Iannetta had a base hit in the second inning. 5 hits for the Mariners, 3 for the A's. There has not been an error in the game. Graveman has not had a 3-up, 3-down inning, although he did face just 3 hitters in the second. Had some help from a caught stealing to end the inning. Pitch count at 63. So a little high. Alonso has it. Graveman hesitated just for a moment. Alonso noticed that, and he hustles over and takes it himself.
And it's going to be a tougher play for Coughlin because he was shading near second base. So Alonso, very alert, knowing, look where Coughlin's playing. And Alonso said, I'll get it, reached for it, got it, and a race to the bag to beat Iannetta. So great play again by Yonder Alonso.
And you may say, well, what's Graveman doing? I think he thought it was a ground ball to second.
I agree. Yep. I agree.
And when he realized that it wasn't, then he had to get over there.
And Kipe, all the more reason to look around and see where the defense is playing.
True, yeah.
So, I mean, you wonder, well, guys will do it, but I think guys assume that infielders are positioned in certain areas, like straight up, when all the shifts there are not. It's rare. I mean, this is rare right now. This is straight up.
That's interesting to think about, Ray. When you could watch the pitcher, and you're sitting here, I mean, do they turn around and look where the shifts are? I don't think a lot of them do.
I don't either. I really don't, because I think the one, and again, instincts tell you that a ball up the middle, but if you know the shift and your infielder's there, let it go.
Like, I mean, now that it's what we're talking about, Graveman has not at any point since O'Malley stepped into the batter's box looked to see where his infielders are. Now you may say, well, he knows what they're going to do, who they're going to shift on. Maybe.
But a lot of times after the initial meeting that they have for the whole team. Darren Bush will talk about the pitchers that his hitters are facing, but I don't know that there's a meeting that talks about where the defense is going to position guys.
O'Malley showing off his speed. Close play at first, but he's retired. So Graveman does get the 3-up, 3-down inning. 2-1 Mariners after 4.
All forms of youth baseball and softball, from organized league games to simply playing catch, come out to the Coliseum May 28th and 29th. That's this weekend for MLB's inaugural Play Ball Weekend, proudly supported by Chevrolet and Scotts. On Sunday, May 29th, 10,000 fans will receive bat and ball sets. Get your tickets today. Athletics.com/tickets. A's will be back home Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Tigers. Monday, Memorial Day, Tuesday, Wednesday against the Twins before heading out on another road trip.
Speaking of the Tigers, all of a sudden they're playing great.
Well, and all of a sudden Jordan Zimmerman's not going to pitch this weekend. But because they have an off day, they're going to think Verlander, Sanchez.
Verlander pitched tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be able to pitch this weekend.
But they won again today.
Yeah, Sanchez and I don't remember the other pitcher, but Jordan Zimmerman has a groin injury and said he's going to throw on Friday in Oakland. And if he's okay, they'll take a side session on the mound on Sunday, and they'll determine.
Nowitzki hustling to first, but he will be retired. So one away here in the top of the fifth inning.
Yeah, Pelfrey, Verlander, Sanchez.
I got you.
Not necessarily in that order. Those three, though, will start because of the off day they do have on Thursday. But yeah, they're playing much better. That guy named Miggy Cabrera. He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Yeah, they interleague, they beat the Phillies 3-1. Tigers have won 8 out of 9. And they are now over 500. Cano shuffle it with his glove. You could see that coming. And he does it nicely, 2 away.
Well, last at bat on the last pitch Coco saw from Carnes was a hanging curveball, and at that time tied the game. 4th home run for Coco. A solo shot to right field.
Boos is in the house.
He looked right at the camera too. He knew, right?
Boos has been around me for a long time. He knows all the angles, no pun intended.
He knows a red light on the camera when it's on.
So 2 quick outs here in the top of the 5th, and here's Burns. One other note from that Tigers win tonight: Francisco Rodriguez picked up his 400th career save. So that's quite a milestone.
62 in one season
That's
with
right.
the Angels.
Over the mound. Quick throw to first. Got it. Sean O'Malley came charging in, made a very nice play, and Burns is retired. So 3 ground ball outs here in the top of the 5th inning. And we'll be back for the bottom of the 5th, and it's the Mariners leading 2-1. On CSN California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. It's roundup time. Take the beach train to Santa Cruz or the Redwood Forest train to Fair Mountain. Beautiful night in Seattle. Mariners trying to even up this series at a game apiece, leading 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Aoki, Martin, and Smith against Kendall Graveman. Graveman has retired 4 in a row. He had his first 3 up, 3 down inning in the 4th.
Not only 3 up and 3 down, but 3 ground ball outs also. Oh. Umpire and both throwing balls back to Kendall Graveman. Pick one and catch it.
Graveman said, "I'm out of here."
Well, the umpire said, "I'm gone." Stephen Vogt said, "I'm gone." And well, usually the ball hits the ground, it's automatic to throw it out, and that's what Dan Adesanya figured. And it's rare that actually umpires actually throw the ball to the pitcher. Usually hand it to the catcher. But Adesanya decided to do it, almost hit the pitcher.
2-1 to Aoki, who reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. Big guy to get. Aoki is really a leadoff hitter, so this is a nice situation if you're the Mariners. You have Aoki leading it off, even though he's the 9th place hitter. And he shoots it right up the middle past Graveman. So now you got a lot of action because Martin can bunt. You got a couple of good left-handed hitters up after that. And when I say bunt, I don't mean sacrifice bunt. I mean just move the ball around.
Got the ground ball with a high fastball and no shift, no chance for anybody to get that except Kendall Graveman. But that's a matter of falling behind 3-1 after a first pitch strike on a good location. And maybe just the fact that he had 2 baseballs thrown at him shook him up.
Possible.
He didn't throw a strike after that, and even the one that was hit was elevated.
So keep a close eye on Leonys Martin and see what he does. The Indians beat the White Sox today 6-2, and they beat Chris Sale. So Chris Sale suffered his first loss. He was trying to go to 10-0, but instead he took the loss. So finally somebody was able to beat Chris Sale. He's 9-1 now. Indians quietly, Ray, are just a game and a half out of first place in the Central. They're doing that without Michael Brantley as well.
That's right.
Michael Brantley, maybe their best offensive player.
Got one of the starting pitchers on the DL.
That's right. The Central now, game and a half back.
Poor Twins, though. 25 under 500.
Yeah, they lost again.
So 4 teams right in the thick of it, except the Twins, who were in thick of things all last year under Paul Molitor in the first season.
And the Royals beat the Twins tonight 7-4 in Minnesota. And it is indeed getting ugly in Minneapolis. 11-34 now are the Twins. Did not see that coming. High in the air to center. Burns backs up. Aoki's going to tag. Burns waits. Burns got it. Aoki will bluff, and he will stay at first. But a good move by Aoki. Forced the center fielder to make a good throw.
You know, and you talk often about the outfielder making sure that he does not get caught back on his heels. No wind at all tonight. Flag straight down. And Billy Burns figured that Aoki might be tagging. The ball was deep enough. Aoki saw the ball was going to be caught. As Cologne starts to get loose, but Billy got himself behind the ball and made a strong throw into second base. And Aoki has already been thrown out at second. Did not want to be caught at second again.
So Seth Smith steps up with 1 out. And there's a shot past the diving Coughlin into right field for a hit. Seth Smith is 3 for 3.
Well, he's hit a ball to left field. No one's going to the bullpen, looks like. Seth Smith to left field, 1 off the pitcher, and then this one to right field. Bob Melvin does not want Kendall Graveman to face Robinson Cano.
So Graveman is gone after 4 1/3. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
McPitt can represent the A's. Oh, man, we got to listen. At mealtime on Memorial Day, Monday, May 30th, 15,000 fans will receive an A's player pet bowl featuring Stella Doolittle alongside Baxter and Murray Reddick. The metal pet bowl will have the rest of the neighborhood pack howling with envy, or here at Safeco Field, they're howling right now. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. There it is, Monday, coming up Monday, Memorial Day, Coliseum. Listen to them howl right now.
I really like what you did there, how you brought the flavor of what is going on in this ballpark into the promo that you were reading. It's a sign of a true professional. And we know that you are, Mr. Fosse.
Yeah, right.
We know that you are.
Well, Kendall Graveman right now is a little upset that coming out in the 5th inning. But Bob Melvin has his club down by 1 with 2 on, and of course Big part of the batting order coming up. And Daniel Colon trying to shut down the Mariners in this 5th inning.
So it's Cano who stands in.
This kid has experience and trying to bring that experience here.
Colon is pitching extremely well in AAA. He's got Cano, and I'm going to have to get Cruz as well. He's up in the bullpen. Aoki and Smith are the runners. Oh, jumps ahead 0-2.
And I think this is where Bob Melvin and Kurt Young would look at the matchups, as we talk about often, and probably feel that a lefty may be against Cruz, who is the next batter, and then you have Seager behind him. And depending what Cano does, can make a determination as to what they do with Cruz, but ideally get this hitter out and worry about Cruz when it comes up.
Cruz stays inside. That Cano was kind of leaning into it a little bit, and then he had to jump back out of the way.
Leaning into it to go to the opposite field, and especially recognize the curveball. Almost came in and hit it.
Cano with an RBI double, and then he hit into a double play, and Vogt blocked it.
Man, that's a block. Ball bounces that far out of front of home plate. That is a huge block. Look where this ball starts. A couple feet in front of home plate and bounce straight up. And the fact that it's a curveball, that's the spin that you know you're going to get on the curveball. And Stephen Vogt just put his body in front of it. That's about all that chest protector is good for. A play like that. It's a hit, and you hope to hit softly.
Driven to left field. Coco's back there, and he's got it. So Cano hit it hard, but right at Coco Crisp, and that'll bring up Nelson Cruz. One big out gotten here in the 5th inning by Colon. And he needs one more.
Last night, Rich Hill was able to throw his great curveball, 12-6 curveball backdoor to the right-handers, and maybe Bob Melvin's thinking that that's what Colon can do with Stephen Vogt. Throw the curveball backdoor. Stephen will tell you what it's going to be. And go inside.
He had a good pitch called the strike by home plate umpire Dan Iasonia.
Well, look where Vogt moves. Stephen Vogt moves in really off the plate, so it crosses the inside corner, and that's what Dan Iasonia saw, which is a good pitch, catching the inside corner of the plate. Catcher catches it really off the plate, it seems.
Breaking ball outside corner first strike. So a couple of very good pitches.
There's your backdoor curveball, and there's no way Cruz can recognize the location of the pitch the way he has opened up and then closes his stance. I wonder if Colon actually shook off, or Stephen Vogt asked him to shake off, and he said, let's go through it again.
So now Colon is ready. Breaking ball just a little bit high. Cruz struck out in the first and then had the 2-out RBI hit in the third, and that gave the Mariners the 2-1 lead. Sharp breaking ball, nice block by Stephen Vogt.
Again, another sharp breaking ball, but watch the break. Once it hits, see how it spins? And the catcher calls the pitch. He knows that he wants the pitch to be thrown down And so he's anticipating the ball in the dirt anyway, and especially the spin of the curveball.
2 pitch. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Looked like a changeup, and he got Nelson Cruz. What a job by Daniel Colon. Comes in and strands a couple of runners, and he gets Cano and then Cruz. 6th inning coming up. Still 2-1 Seattle. Leading 2-1, and with the heart of the order for the A's, Vogt, Valencia, and Davis. Stephen Vogt, a fly ball to center and a pop out to short as he steps in. 1 for 5 now in the series. That one hit the home run last night. 81 pitches for Nathan Carnes through 5 innings, so his pitch count is pretty high. So at some point fairly soon we'll see the Mariners bullpen. Fastball away, 1-1 the count. Three hits allowed by Carnes so far. He has 3 strikeouts. He's walked a couple. And that's going to be a broken bad hit as it drops in front of Aoki in left field. So leadoff man aboard. Greater coverage of baseball. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Tomorrow's starting pitchers. Who are they? Zach Neal is going to make the start for the Athletics. It'll be his first major league start and his 2nd career game. And he will be opposed by Hisashi Iwakuma. So we'll look forward to seeing Zach Neal. He's here, right?
He's here.
All right.
And he got interviewed tonight, so we read all the clips in the paper tomorrow about his interview tonight. But his other appearance was in Boston when he pitched 3 innings, and that's the reason Bob Melvin said, hey, he pitched well in front of that great crowd at Fenway. And that was a series in which the Red Sox hit everybody. The starting pitchers didn't pitch deep in the games.
One 1-0 to Valencia, so an opportunity for the A's. And now 2-0. Speaking of Boston, Jackie Bradley doubled in his first at bat tonight to extend his hitting streak to 28 games. So he's starting to make the thing interesting. Halfway to Joe DiMaggio.
Exactly. And I think it's interesting that MLB is doing at this time, at the same time, the hit streak for the great Joe DiMaggio.
That's right.
You know, they put the box score up Joe D with the hit off whomever. You have the bearded one and the lefty.
Montgomery and Vincent. But that's a pretty good story, though. Jackie Bradley Jr.
It is.
He was very tough on the A's. 28 games.
I read that just recently he had one that was, I guess he was called out, overturned at first, and got an infield hit. I think that's just this past week or last week. But
he didn't wait around today. A double in the second inning. So he likes instant replay. Base hit right field. Smith over to cut it off. Vogt trying for third, and he will make it. First and third, and nobody out.
Well, Stephen Vogt, and we've talked about his speed, and he said don't go to sleep on it. Well, he had to make sure the ball did not hit him. And then Danny Valencia just shot one past Lind at first base, but watch Stephen Vogt. He said to stop, jump, and even at that point, consider where the ball was hit. He went on to third base, and good job avoiding being hit by the ball, and then rounding second. Really, Ron Washington was bringing him to third base, but looked like he was going on his own, and man, what a hit first slide. So two opposite field hits by the Athletics leading off this inning, and have a chance to do something. Well, this might be buying some time for the right-hander. Kendall Graven only threw 78 pitches and out in the fifth inning. A great job by Daniel Colon. So if the A's had Colon, they would have Colon and Colon.
That's true.
And Bartolo just keeps going, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
And so he
just had a birthday, did he not?
Yeah, 43. They showed the picture of him when he was at Cleveland. I think he weighed 150 pounds. He's put on a few since then.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. To the bullpen for the Mariners.
At the Coliseum with the Josh Reddick bobblehead with spinning action presented by Comerica Bank. Saturday, May 28th. That's this coming Saturday. 15,000 fans will walk away with a replica of one of the Gold Glover's signature catches. And there it is. Man, that's spinner. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 877-493-BALL. And Josh Reddick, good news for him as no surgery needed, but Josh on the disabled list, but he is looking forward to this Saturday, his first ever bobblehead. And it'll be a good thrill for the folks who are able to get in line and get it. Nathan Carnes, not that happy right now as he goes 5+ innings. A couple of walks, 3 strikeouts.
And Nick Vincent will take over. He's been throwing the ball extremely well for the Mariners. Good overall numbers. And recently, just 1 run allowed in his last 14 1/3 innings. So he's done a nice job as he faces Chris Davis, and first pitch hard slider, and he won around.
Well, the bullpen has been so good for the Mariners. Not surprising that Chris Davis didn't like the check swing called by Dale Scott. And not surprised that Scott Service would go to the bullpen in this situation. And
it's a revamped bullpen,
yeah,
but you're right, it has been very good.
In fact, last night Taijuan Walker didn't need bullpen help early.
In the air, plenty deep. Vogt will tag. Smith has it. Valencia thought about trying for second. He stops, but Vogt hustles home. And this game is tied thanks to the sacrifice fly by Chris Davis, picking up RBI number 30.
That was a half swing.
Yep.
I mean, that is amazing the way the ball traveled off the bat of the strongman Chris Davis. Look at this swing on the pitch away, and he just reached for it. He just reached for the ball and carried almost to the warning track. Easily scoring with Stephen Vogt. Absolutely, with his speed, he's going to score anyway. But Chris Davis showing his unbelievable power on a pitch. Really, it's a pitcher's pitch, but able to hit it deep enough to score Vogt.
So 1 away. Here's Alonso. A little bit inside. Nick Vincent was acquired right at the end of spring training from the San Diego Padres on the 30th of March. So he's in spring training with the Padres in Peoria, and then he gets traded to the Mariners.
Just changed clubhouses.
Peoria. So he literally probably just walked down a hallway and grabbed a new uniform, because the Mariners and the Padres share a spring training complex.
And we thought Chris Coughlin being acquired by the A's and Mesa to Mesa was close.
This
is the ultimate closeness.
It's the shared complex.
That's
in
right.
Arizona. And there's a few down there. Outside.
It is amazing, Cap. You think about Arizona, there are 10 teams that share 5 facilities.
That's right. 5 shared, right?
Yeah, only 5 have their own facility, but that's kind of the multi-team stadiums, which is good.
So the Angels have their own, the A's have their own, the Giants have their own, the Brewers have their own, right?
And the Cubs.
And the Cubs. Yeah. That's
right. Cubs have a huge.
There's a shot, base hit, right center field. Valencia stops at second. So 3 hits in the inning, and the A's now have a shot to take the lead. And it'll be Marcus Semien who steps in.
Well, a shift, and they're playing him to pull the ball more, so he hits it right where the second baseman would have been. And we see this and see it against the A's. Look where this ball is hit. That's a 4-6-3 double play, but nobody's there. And that's good hitting by Alonso, intentional or not, but it worked out well.
First pitch to Semien, checks his swing, fouls it back to the screen. They're still playing in Houston. The Orioles and the Astros 2-2, bottom of the 12th. Orioles with the best record in the American League. Vincent a check, and he delivers. Swing and miss. Good fastball. A lot of movement.
See that Mattis was traded to the
Braves, yes,
and then designated. Got a couple of pitchers or a couple of players, young players, and he was struggling, and they got him and said, "See ya."
Must have got a prospect in there too, somewhere that they wanted.
Yeah.
Not close. 1-2 to Semien, who has walked and struck out.
Well, Marcus has hit 10 home runs, yes, but Marcus also has hit the ball to the right side, and every time you see the shift, and 2 strikes, a hitter has a tendency to try to change his approach, and let's hope Marcus can get a pitch outside, stay inside, and shoot a ball to right field.
And got a hanger. Almost too much of a hanger.
That's right.
He's a little up.
Yeah. Well, it seems like hitters or pitchers can get away with a 2-strike hanger because unless it drops right down on the wheelhouse or have the power that Chris Davis has, you get away with it.
Valencia at second, Alonso at first. And remember, Valencia, he's still not running 100%. Keep that in mind if there's a base hit to the outfield.
You know, Ron Washington is well aware of that. Ron Washington is well aware of all the runners, and he's saying there, look around, see where they're positioned, and they're relatively shallow. Which, if a ball is hit to the outfield, the best case would be a ground ball to the right side through into the outfield. That would enable them to score.
This one's driven left center and hit well. Aoki, Martin, nobody's going to get it. Bounces up over the wall. It will allow Valencia to score. Alonso will have to stop at third, and the A's have taken the lead here in the 6th inning. A booming RBI double for Marcus Semien.
That's the amazing thing about Marcus Semien. He's such a strong hitter that you make a mistake again, and they did again. Pitch was up, and he just crushes it to left center, solidly off his bat. Really cost the A's a run. Alonso was going to score, as this was hit very hard, hit hard on the warning track, and bounced in to the party deck. And Alonso had to go back to third base. If it hit the wall, Martin could not get to it. It was going to stay in the park, 2 runs to score, but going to intentionally walk Coghlan to get to Smolinski and load the bases. But great job of hitting by Marcus Semien to play the go-ahead run.
Still only 1 out. So all 3 of these runs have been charged to Nathan Karn. So you can close the book on him. A couple of walks and 3 strikeouts. So he could get the loss if the A's hang on and win this. Still a long ways to go. Top of the 6th. But the A's have taken the lead. 3 singles, a double, a sac fly, and a walk so far in this 6th inning.
Stoudemire Jr. going out to visit with his pitcher.
So the hitter will be Smolinski. So a full meeting on the mound, which will be broken up soon as Dan Iasonia starts to head out there. Shot clock's at 5.
Shot clock.
Lefty Montgomery.
Well, this is what Jake Smolinski did last night against Taijuan Walker. He featured fastball after fastball after fastball, and he said, "You keep throwing it, I'm going to hit it." He did, and it was a big hit. And Stephen Vogt had the home run, but that hit by Smolinski after the error started it, that was Semien who scored. He got on base with a 2-base error, strikeout, and then the big hit by Smolinski, trying to do it again. At first, they're playing for a play at the plate, and Lynn up the middle left side, 2.
First pitch, a fastball, and Smolinski one after it, fouls it straight back. 0 for 2 tonight for Smolinski. Alonso at third, Semien at second, Coghlan at first.
Former Mariners manager Bob Melvin on the A's side now in the green and gold.
That one almost to the backstop. Ionetta on the backhand.
That's when you use the backhand. That's the only chance. He's inside, had to reach down quickly, and you often wonder, but you're looking at a ball thrown 60 feet 6 inches, 90 plus miles per hour, and you're set up one direction, have to change directions that quickly. That was very good instincts by the catcher, the veteran catcher, Ionetta.
This one's fouled just to our right. So now Smolinski behind in the count, 1-2 to Vincent. Coco Crisp waits in the on deck circle. So it will be a battle of bullpens the rest of the way. Vincent, a long look now. He's ready. 2 pitches, a fastball inside, 90 miles an hour.
Well, if he does that, you'd figure he's going to go back outside with a breaking ball or a fastball. Remember, the bases are loaded, so he really can't afford to walk a batter. Third appearance against the A's, and of course the big one. They gave up the home run to Crisp. And the runners. Coughlin. He went into second hard. Pittsburgh with that young second baseman that took him out and caused him to miss the postseason. Can't do that this year.
Got him swinging. He elevated a fastball when he needed to, and that's a huge strikeout for Nick Vincent.
Well, he did elevate it, and great pitch. Walensky tried to get on top, and that's the pitch that's so hard to do and really kind of close to take.
So we're going to have another pitching change. The bases are loaded still, but now 2 outs for the Athletics. We'll be back. Work plan all points between. Use Clipper instead of cash to pay. Transit. Beautiful look at downtown Seattle. It's a 3-2 game now. The A's leading, and they're trying to add on. They've scored twice here in the top of the 6th. So the Mariners will bring in the lefty Mike Montgomery. He's had a nice year, and Ray mentioned earlier the bullpen for the Mariners completely redone from last year, and it's been very good so far. Montgomery was with the Mariners last year, but he actually started some games for them.
Yes, he did.
So here's Crisp. Bases loaded, 2 outs now. And the first pitch is up and away to Crisp, who has hit a fly ball to left field. He has homered, and he has grounded out. He's got a couple of grand slams in his career.
Well, they want to turn Coco around to bat right-handed after he hit the home run from the left side against the right-handed Carnes.
Missed again. Now it's 2-0.
Couple of different fastballs for the left-hander in addition to the cutter. Curveball and the changeup right now has put himself in a position to maybe throw the 2-seam fastball and try to get a ground ball. Coco's got to be disciplined, though.
Missed it high, 3-0.
Now he's got to go for fastballs, 4-seamers.
Iannetta set up right down the middle, and that's a strike on the outside corner. 93 miles an hour.
Now, Coco's a good hitter, but there are times that this is when a hitter can say, I'm going to make you throw 3 strikes.
Yep.
Bases loaded. You threw one. You throw the other one. You have to throw a third one. But you be ready for that one. But if it's a good one on 3-1, you might see Coco swinging.
And it was, and he lines it left field, a base hit. 1 run scores. 2 runs are going to score. And Coco crisp to second, and it's 5-2 the A's lead.
And that's what good hitters do. They force you to throw a strike. He did, and Coco was all over it. And every time a manager turns Coco around to bat right-handed, good things happen for the A's because Coco's a good hitter, both sides. Proves it again on this one with a fastball center cut, jumped on it, and pulled it down the left field line. And the throw going into third base, you would assume it would be a double, as Coco did not hesitate. Aoki just over the head of Seager. Aoki got to it quickly, but threw the ball back into third, conceded the double for Coco.
Billy Burns goes after the first pitch and pops it up. And that'll do it. But the A's score 4 times here in the top of the 6th. So as we head to the bottom of the 6th, the A's now have the lead over the Mariners. It is 5-2.
There with a couple of runners on base, gets out of the inning, trailing 2-1, but the A's put up a 4 spot in the top half of the 6th inning and the 5-2 lead. There's a 2-run double by Coco Crisp. Bases loaded. That would cap the 4-run inning. So Daniel Colomb, who did a great job getting a line drive out by Cano, the strikeout of Nelson Cruz, will face a left-hander, Kyle Seager, in this, the bottom of the 6th inning.
So now 5-2, the A's lead thanks to that 4-run top of the 6th. Seager pulled off that one, misses the slider, 0-1.
Orlando Rodriguez, hard-throwing right-hander, gets loose. Emo, Scott Emerson looking on, telling him who's coming up or who he might be hitting or getting. And that, at this point, would be Ionetta, because it looked like Lynn is going to stay in the game. A little bit too early to start pinch hitting.
Seager tonight has walked and hit a fly ball to left field. So a couple of runs charged to Nick Vincent in his 2/3 of an inning. Seager hits it hard, but Alonso has it. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
See, they give blown saves in the 6th inning, don't they?
Yeah, that's a blown save for Nick Vincent. Daniel Colomb deserves some credit. 2 big outs in the 5th inning.
Yeah, that was, I mean, from Bob Melvin's standpoint, he did it Sunday, and it kind of went in reverse when The Yankees scored a couple of runs with 2 outs, and Bob Melvin bringing Colomb in to get Cano and Cruz. He got both of them and just got the tough hitter Seager to start this inning.
Yeah. Throws a strike to Adam Lind.
Okay, if you look back at May the 4th at the Coliseum when the A's got to Felix Hernandez, had the 8-4 lead. And something that Scott Service did not do in that game, and he's not doing it here either, and that's when, in this case, a lefty brought in. He did not pinch hit for anybody. And the two, well, he's not going to do it for Seager, but Lynn, yes, but he did not. And of course, he figured he's going to bring right-handers in eventually. Fernando warming up, so you get the second out, but really he's left his lefties in the lineup.
Yeah, Daniel Colomb doing his thing, and
yes,
now he faces Iannetta.
And I think those are the splits. You know, it's amazing. You can look at the numbers a pitcher has against righties and lefties. And lefties, you figure he's dominant as he was against Cano, but then he struck out Cruz, the very tough right-hander, which shows that his numbers against right-handers are pretty good.
He throws the first pitch strike to Iannetta. Iannetta has singled and grounded out. Let's see your shift. Simeon gets a nice big hop, and that will do it. And Daniel Colomb, well, he may be the MVP so far tonight. He faces 5 hitters, retires them all, and it's 5-2 A's after 6. Fan Fridays are back at the Coliseum. This Friday, the Tigers are in town. Get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, an authentic A's prize, a cheer card, and a $6 food and drink voucher, all for one great price. The best deal in Bay Area baseball is CSN's Authentic Fan Friday. So, good weekend of baseball coming up with the Tigers in town. That's the big wheel. We're going to go on that, Ray, you and I.
Yeah, I think you can tell me what it's called. I thought you went on last year, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And I want to take you on it. I'll buy tickets. We can go.
Well, you just tell me how great it was, and I'll believe you.
You're going to enjoy it.
So, no, that's enough. You just told me how great it is.
It's not as high as the CN Tower in Toronto, and you will not have to hang off the ledge. You're well secured. The door's locked for the most part.
For the most part. That's so great.
It's not like a ride at the fair. It doesn't like move around or go upside down. You just enjoy it.
Like a big old Ferris wheel, huh?
See, look at, I mean,
there's nobody on it.
What could possibly happen? Nothing.
There's nobody riding it, okay?
Then if there's a malfunction, it just stops and you wait. You wait it out.
Forever.
Stephen Vogt started that big 6th inning with looping single to left field. So his only hit so far, but it was important. He ended up scoring. And the A's scored 4 and took the lead 5-2. Montgomery stays out there to face Vogt, and that one is hit high and deep to right field, but in the ballpark for Seth Smith. One away here in the top of the 7th inning.
Good swing for Stephen Vogt, but just got in a little bit too much.
So now Danny Valencia will step in. The Astros won it. 3-2 is your final. They played long into the night at home against the Orioles. There's Correa with a walk-off single in the bottom of the 13th inning. Time of game 4 hours and 14 minutes.
Play all night for a win. That's what they always say, right?
And they did. So Astros 3, Orioles 2. Valencia taps one towards Seager. And Valencia is out. 2 away here in the 7th. So the Astros break their 4-game losing streak. Valencia asked for time, didn't get it, and then grounds out. So to say that Danny Valencia is not going to be happy would be a very large understatement. The umpire does not have to give you time. No. You can request.
And if
they usually do give you time.
If a pitcher's in the stretch where they're holding, wow.
Seager can't get it, and it is a fair ball. Bounces off that sidewall. And Davis will have a double. Second double of the night for Chris Davis.
Liftoff. Chris Davis just kind of little hesitation in the swing as the pitch was coming in. And really, Seager, if a normal person hit that ball, he might have had a chance, but it was hit so hard over the head of Seager. He jumped up and the ball was already past him. Frank Howard used to do that to Brooks Robinson.
That looks like a Frank Howard hit.
The greatest hands in the game. Hondo hit a ball for Brooks. He could get his glove up. Ball was over his head. It's scary. Well, this Vogelsong got hit last night, didn't he?
Get hit by a pitch.
That's right, a pitch. Oh, as Kobe Lewis had a ball hit off him to carry him to center field.
That's right.
Caught by Odor. That's what it was. Still, that's dangerous for pitchers regardless. Hitting, pitching.
Curveball hit fair. Lynn stays with it, throws to Montgomery, and they get the outside retired. So Davis double. He is stranded, and we have reached the 7th inning stretch here in Seattle. 5-2, A's lead. Brought to you by McDonald's. 35 years ago, here in Seattle at the Kingdom. That's Amos Otis. He hits a slow roller down the third base side. Check out Lenny Randall. It worked. Well, did it really work?
No.
Amos Otis was awarded first base after a long argument. Look who's arguing.
Right.
Latch.
I can hear
Lenny Randall, he was a piece of work on it.
Yeah.
At the Kingdom. Longtime home of
That's right.
the Mariners, not here anymore. Although close to the same spot, right?
Right across actually where the football stadium is,
Yeah.
is where the location of the Kingdom.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So Sean Doolittle comes in. He'll face O'Malley, Aoki, and Martin. How about Daniel Colomb? 1 2/3 innings, no hits, no runs, and a strikeout. Alonso hustling over, and he had it and it popped out of his glove. He had a long ways to run. It was not a very high pop-up.
Well, he checked to see, went the slide, and saw Valencia do it at the Coliseum where he went in the slide. The long run, not as long for Alonso. Upset that he didn't catch the ball. He wants to catch everything. Not surprised.
He usually does catch everything. So 0-2 to O'Malley, who's a switch hitter. He has struck out and grounded out. So Graveman 4 1/3, Colomb an inning and 2/3, and now Bob Melvin hopes that he has it set up the way he likes it, with Doolittle, Axford, and Madsen potentially. Pitchers hanging together as they always do.
Nyahan and Hill, and they should all. Hill should be in the middle talking to both of them. They say, "This is how I do it, guys. 36 years old. I was independent baseball a year ago. Now pitching the big leagues, won 7 games with a very low ERA. I could do it. You can do it." A's are fortunate. He's doing it for them.
Strike 3 called. O'Malley knew it.
And there's a pitch where I see it again. Watch Stephen Vogt. He set up inside. Watch this. He reaches back, and this is where you can say for Dan Iasonia, nice job, because really it's a pitch down the middle, but the fact that Stephen Vogt had to reach back, some umpires will say, no, you reached too far. I'm going to call it a ball, but it's been kind of sad for O'Malley to walk away and then have to come back. But he knew it was a strike, but good umpiring by Dan Iasonia.
So 1 away, here's Aoki. Aoki, a late swing at 95 miles an hour. Valencia even with the bag at third. Driven toward Burns in left center. Burns is back there. So Aoki hit that ball well. But it's an out, and that's out number 2. 7 consecutive Mariners hitters have been retired. So now to the top of the order, and Leonis Martin. Fastball outside corner for a strike. Broken bat. Coghlan back in, jump throw, got him. Nice play by Chris Coghlan, and a nice inning by Sean Doolittle. So the A's bullpen has been strong so far. 5-2 lead after 7. got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. It's on Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai, and it's tonight at 10:30, and it's on CSN Bay Area. Lots of highlights, maybe lowlights if you're a Warriors fan. The Warriors got knocked around again tonight. They are now down 3-1 in that series. Game 5 will be Thursday at Oracle, and also the Sharks. They're getting set for their game tomorrow night. They are 1 win away from their first trip to the Stanley Cup final, and they'll try to win the Western Conference in front of their home fans. Again, that's tomorrow night. So Warriors lose tonight in Oklahoma City. Their backs are firmly up against the wall. 1 game away from elimination.
So you add the word firmly.
You're down 3-1. You are firmly with your back up against the wall.
If you're reigning NBA champions, then you know what it's like at least to be in that position, and what it's like also to come back.
Well, Simeon on 3 pitches, he strikes out.
I hope anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, after the tumble by Chris, this young man's done quite well. He's done well, Montgomery has, but boy, the guy fell behind Coco and 3-1 fastball, drilled it.
Yeah, that changed a 3-2 game into a 5-2 game. Little breathing room anyways. Coughlin is 0 for 2. He walked in the 6th inning. But Coughlin's been a little tardy on the fastballs during the stretch where he has been in somewhat of a slump. There's Axford.
And you're right about, actually, from the Mariners standpoint, they had the lead. Actually, it was a tie game. Intentionally walked Coughlin to get to Smolinski, struck him out, but then Coco with a big hit. And you're right also, Doolittle the 7th, Axford the 8th, and hope that Matson gets the 9th.
It's mapped out the way you like it, at least. Coughlin swings and misses at a pitch that was up and in. So back-to-back strikeouts here in the top of the 8th.
Is this self-defense? Trying to hold up his swing, and well, did some things that I don't think whether Montgomery, Inetta, or Coughlin knew what was going to be happening. That looks like he's getting ready to go in and play second.
Smolinski takes a strike. Well, that's one of those strikeouts where you're mad because you struck out, but you also know that it was an ugly swing.
Yeah.
And it's going to get shown a few times, unfortunately. One and 1 to Smolinski, who is 0 for 3, and he chases. Well, you're right about Montgomery. He's just rocking and firing right now. A's hope it's too little too late.
Well, Carnes 3 earnings and Vincent 2 earnings, and right now for Montgomery, well, his inherited runner stat isn't very good, but he's getting the outs.
High fastball. Hit high and foul down the right field line into the second level. In the bottom of the 8th, it'll be Smith, Cano, and Cruz, so it'll be a big inning for Axford. Breaking ball, Smolinski just got a piece of it. It rolls toward Ron Washington. A's have out hit the Mariners 9-7. Nasty pitch there. Montgomery with a changeup. Smolinski strikes out. Montgomery strikes out the side. So bottom of the 8th coming up. Big hitters coming up. Axford. We'll see if he's coming in. Steelers 5-9-0 for the A's. The 4 spot in the 6th. That was the difference so far. And the Mariners 2-7-0. Graveman was knocked out in the 5th inning. Nathan Carnes won 5+. And Coco Crisp with a big hit. Chris Davis has had a good night. A couple of doubles and a sacrifice fly. So again, 4 runs on 5 hits in the 6th inning.
Bob Melvin talked to Dan Sonia. Has Gutierrez been announced? He said yes. And Bob Melvin goes to the mound and brings in the guy that you knew was going to be pitching the 8th inning.
That's right. So Doolittle ends up pitching just the 1 inning. Axford coming in when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
So bottom of the 8th, and it's now going to be Franklin Gutierrez who's going to hit for Smith. John Axford comes in. Axford, pitcher number 4 for the Athletics. 3-1 with a 2.84 ERA. So he'll face Gutierrez, Cano, and Cruz. So this is the big hitters. First pitch is a breaking ball and stays outside. New second baseman is Tyler Ladendorf.
All right. Yeah, really, that's a good idea. Don't lean up against the net.
Well, Doolittle goes 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout. Swing and a miss by Gutierrez, 97 miles an hour from Axford.
Scott Service did not pinch hit for Smith or Lind a couple of innings ago. Beginning of the 8th inning, puts up Gutierrez, and that's what Bob Melvin was waiting for. Once he's announced, then bring in the right-hander. So if get rid of at least one lefty.
That one's hit well. Burns going back, and it is off the wall. Gutierrez will hustle in for second, and he'll make it with a sliding double. Missed a home run by about 3 feet.
Well, they keep showing on their Diamond Vision what he did in Cincinnati, hitting the 473-foot home run. Well, he is healthy, and he is swinging the bat well. And the way Billy Burns turned around as if he's saying it's a home run, and then came off the wall, played it nicely. But Gutierrez, even though he hit it well, knows this is a big park, not enough to get it out in center field.
So now it's Cano, Cruz, and Seager. So this is where you got to be real careful. His bullpen is quiet. Robinson Cano 1 for 3 with an RBI double in the first inning. He takes way inside. So Cano leading the American League in RBIs with 40. Had no intention of swinging at that breaking ball, and it's in first strike. He's 2 for 7 in the series.
Such a good hitter. I think he saw the spin of the curveball and said, shut it down. He throws it for a strike. Okay, but if not, it's going to be 2-0. But good curveball that Axford is able to throw pretty consistently for strikes. Not afraid to throw that. Come back with a 95-plus fastball.
Cano belts one right center. That's trouble. That is deep. And that is gone. And now it's 5-4.
Wow. Well, he took the first curveball, but maybe looking for the same pitch because it was such a good one. It came right back, and he crushed it. And this is a big yard to hit it out in right center. And Robinson Cano was running as if he thought it might not have enough, but it just carried over the fence. And you're right, a 2-run shot, hard hit to center, hard hit to right center, and a 1-run game. Well, and John Axford, going back to Sunday, gave up a couple of hits also in that game against the Yankees to give them the lead, trying to prevent that from happening this game.
There's Nelson Cruz, who misses that breaking ball. So Nelson Cruz now 13 home runs and 42 RBIs in 45 games. So Robinson Cano's numbers, not Cruz's numbers. So Cano almost an RBI per game.
So Ryan Doe heard getting ready, and Mark Szynski.
Quickly. So Stephen Vogt has a quick chat with Axford. A double and a homer here in the bottom of the 8th. Cruz with that wide open stance. Shift is on the infield. Another curve, and Cruz, he's seen the curve now, so he took that one like it wasn't the first one he has seen.
And now you figure a fastball. This is when Axford can turn it up a notch. He's going to need to, because you figure Cruz, after seeing a couple of curves, is going to be looking fastball.
And now 3-1. Seager, the on-deck hitter. After Seager, it's Lynn. And Cruz got one to hit. Took a good swing, fouled it back, and now it's 3-2. A little power on power right here.
Yeah. And if anything, good location on the inner part of the plate. Definitely power to power.
Yeah. It's one of those fun late inning matchups.
If we're up here.
Curve, and Cruz looked like his knees buckled a little bit, but he was able to just hang in there and foul it off.
Well, that's where no stride helps, and it was enough up that he could at least make contact and stay alive for another pitch.
Curve is just a bit high, and he walked him. So now the tying run is on, and here comes Seager, and we're going to get a pinch runner.
Just did not break down sharply enough. Taylor's going to run for Cruz. And Bob Melvin going to the pen. He was talking to Kurt Young, and not something he was going to have to do, but he's going to his left-hander. One thing to keep Taylor close to first, the other thing to face the left-hander Seager.
So Zepchinski coming in, and Axford gives up a double, a homer, and a walk. We got a 5-4 game.
Telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to MLB or to At-Bat Premium, #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Well, it's not a big crowd, but now the crowd is into it. It's a 5-4 game. Zepchinski comes in to face Seager. First pitch to Seager, a breaking ball for a strike. And that is the pinch runner, Chris Taylor. So Cruz is out of the game. Cruz, the designated hitter.
Vince came charging in thinking there might be a sacrifice from the left-handed hitting Seager. And Seager, as we have noted, has always hit left-handed pitchers pretty well. And that shows you right there why he's not bunting. 3 for 5 with a home run, double. Not a double play, add that to his repertoire.
Taylor thought about going. He took a step towards second base and then held on.
Stephen Vogt had the hard curveball that he had to block from Graveman, and Taylor started, but after a couple of mistakes last night, he didn't want to run into an out tonight. Nice block by Stephen Vogt.
Adam Lind is the on-deck hitter. And again, Taylor thought about going, and he has to scramble back. And a great play by Vogt. That time, Taylor took about 3 steps towards second base.
Well, Stephen's gotten his work in tonight, and hard to his left, and like an infielder. And his quick throw to first base when Taylor thought about going, got back, but backing up also was Landorf, which always important to try to back up in the event the throw gets away.
So the count now 2-1. Seager checks his swing. It's outside. 3-1. The only right-handed hitter that the Mariners have on their bench now is Dae-Ho Lee.
Yeah.
And I say that because Lind is in the on-deck circle.
And with Doe warming up, Service knows that he would come in to face Lee if he did pinch hit.
Seager has walked, hit a fly ball to left field, and he is grounded to first. 3-1 pitch is hit toward Ladendorf. Flips to second, back to first, double play. So on a 3-1 count, Seager hits into the double play.
Boy, that's a long flip by Ladendorf. Underhand to the shortstop, Simeon. But see where he is positioned, and that is a long flip, but he got a lot on it, and Marcus Simeon made a very nice return, but the throw right there, the flip by Ladendorf was exceptional considering the distance. And a turn by Marcus Simeon. Remember, Jed Lowry tried that a couple of times and did not get it there in enough time, the Houston Astros. And Dae-Ho Lee has been announced, so it looks like Ryan Dull, the right-hander, had been warming up. So Scott Service made the choice to go for the big bopper, and Bob Melvin's going to bring in, is it Fernando? Fernando. Dull was warming, so Fernando had snuck. So bring the hard one in.
All right, so Rodriguez coming in. CSNCalifornia.com. Each week, our A's Insider Joe Stiglitz talks baseball with players, coaches, and more. The A's Insider Podcast with Joe. It's on CSNCalifornia.com, also available on iTunes. So Rodriguez comes in. He is the 6th pitcher of the night. And he's going to face the big fella, Dae-Ho Lee. 5-4 game, bottom of the 8th inning. So 1-0 with a 2.22 ERA for Rodriguez in 17 games. First pitch to Lee. He swings wildly at a breaking ball.
That's a cut fastball that he's developed by Cap, and it's a good one, and that's the one that he said Kurt Young convinced him to throw it to the right-handers. He had been relying more on the left-handers, but good cutter away on the first one, and Dae-Ho Lee was looking fastball.
He lays off that pitch. So 1-1. It's been Graveman, Colomb, Doolittle, Axford, Subjinski, and now Rodriguez. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Be careful with that one, though. He'll hit that one.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. I mean, that's putting everything behind it, and he missed it. Fortunately, he's up a little bit, but he has power to all fields, and unfortunately, the A's have seen that power to all fields between here and in Oakland.
Just got a piece of another breaking ball or cutter from Rodriguez. Now, the only position player left for the Mariners is Steve Clevenger, who is the backup catcher.
Stephen Vogt saying don't shake, or shake and shake, and he's actually telling that. He's going to go fastball away.
High fastball, and he blew it by him. So Rodriguez strikes out Lee to end the bottom of the 8th. Robinson Cano with a 2-run homer. So 9th inning coming up. It's now 5-4 A's lead.
The game, Coco Crispy would tie the game, hitting a hanging curveball from Nathan Carnes, had to make it 1-1. But the big blow came against Montgomery. Bases loaded. They brought him in to face and turn Coco around to bat right-handed. He went 3-0, 3-1, jumped on a 3-1 fastball, hit a double down the left field line. And right now, that's the difference in this game, because that added 2 with a 3-2 lead the A's had. They made it 5-3. The Mariners have scored 2, and so the top of the 9th inning. 9 hits for the A's and the Mariners, but the A's have 1 more run and would like to get some insurance, as Ryan Matson, I'm sure, will start to heat up. Pitched an inning last night. He had not pitched for about 5 days, but had a chance to pitch last night, and he pitches tonight.
Coco rips one foul. Nice play down the line. So Mike Montgomery stays in the game. He's already pitched 2 1/3. That's a nice play by the young lady.
Scotty, I hope you're watching. You can learn. Carried the ball right over to the rail and handed it to somebody. Okay.
Scotty could learn a lot. You're right.
A lot of similarities. Double ear flap.
Blonde hair. Seager charges right near the bag. Goes low. Cahill leads it out. Coco Crispy's retired. He's now 2 for 5. You saw Lee at first base, and Franklin Gutierrez is out in right field. So here's Billy Burns.
You don't see my warming up, do we?
Nope. The bullpen is quiet. which is interesting.
Very interesting.
Madsen threw 11 pitches last night. And you would think he would at least be up throwing a little bit. More action for Seager, who's playing in. That's an easy play, 2 outs. 6 in a row retired by Mike Montgomery. So he's kept his team close, even though he did give up the big hit to Coco Crisp in the 6th inning. So now Madsen is getting up. He's done this before, so he knows how much time he needs. First pitch to Vogt, not close. Montgomery now has thrown 36 pitches. Stephen Vogt tonight is 1 for 4. Singleton scored in the 6th inning. In the 9th inning, it's at the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be Iannetta, O'Malley, and Aoki. If anybody gets on, the leadoff man, Leonis Martin. So if you want to really worry yourself, for Cano to hit, 2 guys would have to get on. Actually 3. And that's who you want to avoid. Three and 1 to Stephen Vogt. 3 and 2 to Stephen Vogt. Huge shift down for Vogt. 3-2 breaking ball, and it was a nasty one, and Vogt strikes out. So nice job by Mike Montgomery, and we are going to the bottom of the 9th. It's a 5-4 A's lead. Bottom of the 9th, the closer's in. Make sure you join us tomorrow. The A's will wrap up this 3-game series, and then we'll head back home. It'll be Zach Neal and Hisashi Iwakuma. Neal will be making his first major league start. Coverage begins at 6:30 with A's pregame live, and then the ball game first pitch scheduled for 7:10. So make sure you join us tomorrow night. Zach Neal and Hisashi Iwakuma. So here is Madsen. He's 11 for 12 in save opportunities.
And before last night, Cap, his last appearance was against the Rangers when he gave up the home run in the 9th inning and then a walk-off grand slam by Chris Davis. That was the Tuesday night game. So he'd gone about a week without pitching.
First pitch to Iannetta is a swing and a miss. So Iannetta is 1 for 3. O'Malley to follow, and then Aoki. O'Malley a switch hitter, Aoki a left-handed hitter. Just a touch low.
Great fastball, great changeup, occasional cutter.
Shallow right field. Ladendorf backs up. He's there, and he makes the catch for out number 1. And here's O'Malley, switch hitter. He has struck out twice, and he has grounded to short. He's very fast. We've seen that tonight. Stephen Vogt needs
the catcher's mitt, it looks like.
Catcher's mitt repair.
Got to go to the backup. Catchers usually, at least at one time, would have 3. A gamer, an almost gamer, and one you break it in. And
well, there's usually catchers have their own bags full of their stuff, and it's usually right around the corner of the dugout there.
Marcus Jensen, the assistant hitting coach, catching coach, and you're right. They had the bag right there, full of his gear, and so that is one that has been breaking in with a good fastball away to this left-hander.
First pitch to O'Malley. Pretty good swing, fouls it back. 96 miles an hour.
See, the one that has popped up to Landorf was 92, and that's 96. So that is kind of the difference in the velocity that Ryan Madsen will use his fastball and also throw an excellent changeup, kind of a ball that sinks away from the left-hander.
Swing and a miss, chased a pitch down and in.
The thing about Madsen, he said the important thing for the fastball and the changeup for both of them to be released in the same arm slot. And that way, from a hitter standpoint, they're going to guess 50-50. And he said some hitters will sit changeup, take the fastballs.
Simeon gonna have to hurry. He throws, and they just get O'Malley 2 away here in the 9th.
Check out Marcus Simeon. He knows the speed. And the thing that Ron Washington has talked about is catching the ball and throwing. And he did it then because of the speed of O'Malley. And Wash, that's just, and we were seeing where he's kind of taken that extra step. And he said he's got to get rid of it. That time, because of the speed, knowing the hitter, he got rid of it quickly.
So here's Aoki, and Aoki slaps one down the left field line. Coco on the move. Coco dives, and it's a fair ball. It kicks off the side wall, and Aoki's going to be at second with a double. Coco made a terrific effort. He just could not quite come up with it.
Well, he did have a tremendous effort, and high fastball. Aoki not taking a pitch and just served it out to left field. The good part about it, I mean, it's going to be a double anyway. That's why Coco went for it. Tremendous effort. He knocked it at least a little bit to keep it close on the sidewall. Almost came up with it and did not. Aoki at least had to stop at second. Otherwise, could have gone to third if it gets past him down in the corner.
So here is Leonis Martin, 2 outs, tying run at second base. First pitch, swing and a miss. Martin goes after what would have been ball 1.
And it's a changeup. He's looking fastball, came back with a changeup, first pitch, and that's what he was swinging for.
Same pitch, this time Martin lays off. Martin is 0 for 3. He walked and scored in the 3rd inning. He has also struck out, hit a fly ball to center field, and grounded to second. Aoki with above average speed at second base. Staying with that changeup.
So that's 3. Would he do a 4th?
He's got good downward movement.
Yeah.
Looks like the ball actually got ripped. You see that?
Yeah.
Must have hit it right off the end of his bat. So Matson ahead in the count. Right field and deep to the wall is Smolinski. So Leonys Martin, I think he got another changeup, and it was up, and he didn't miss it.
Wanted it down and away, left it up and in, and he wanted to try to get it to sink down and away, and Matson kind of knew when it left the bat. He was hoping that it would hang up a little bit, but Martin knew it was gone, and yes, it was.
So it was a no-doubter, and that one hurts. 2 outs, nobody on base. Aoki with a double, and Martin with a home run, and the Seattle Mariners walk off the A's tonight here in Game 2 of the series. Martin is your hero, and we'll have the rubber match tomorrow night here at Safeco. So tonight's ball game took 3 hours and 12 minutes in front of 17,471, and it ends in dramatic fashion for the Seattle Mariners as they stun the Oakland A's by a final score of 6-5. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on CSN California. It's part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Kelly Johnson and Carney Lansford starts right now.